Hello everyone, Luke here, and a few episodes ago I talked about Wii Sports, one of the most beloved tech demos of all time. And for what it was, the game definitely deserved its praise, like it had the charm. Everybody talks about Wii Sports, but what if the game had a sequel with even more precise motion controls? More than double the sports and over 100 achievements to keep players busy. Wii Sports Resort, less talked about than Wii Sports, but I'd say Wii Sports Resort has more content. This feels more like an actual game rather than a tech demo. It feels like for Wii Sports, they didn't know how big the game would be. If they would have known that Wii Sports would have sold over 100 million copies, then they probably would have made it like Wii Sports Resort. Because the game, for how simple it is, they really put a lot of time and effort to making the game the best it could be. So let's go through Wii Sports Resort to see how awesome the game really is. Wii Sports. It was a success because of how simple it was. You swing the Wii remote, you swing the tennis racket, or a golf club, or hit your friend in the face. It all felt just so real. When making a sequel, they wanted to improve on the motion controls because for something like tennis, at first swinging the tennis racket looks cool. The motion to swing is very little. It's all on the flick of a wrist. And once you realize that, the magic is pretty much gone. So what if they improved on that? Well, they did in 2009 with the Wii Motion Plus. Now, the Wii Motion Plus is a block that you put in the bottom of your Wii remote, and it enhances gameplay by adding a gyroscope. I have no clue what that means, but I think it enhances gameplay. Wii Sports Resort was released on July 23rd, 2009 here in North America, and it looks beautiful. Now, what makes this game better than the original Wii Sports? I'd say the big things is content, gameplay, replayability, and theme. Let's start with theme. In Wii Sports Resort, you play on a tennis court or a golf course, and they were just locations. They were not connected. But here, this is Woohoo Island, and every sport takes place somewhere on this island, which is awesome. It makes the island feel like a real place, like when you throw a frisbee on the beach or shoot hoops in the court. Everything is connected, even inside sports like bowling still have a spot on the island, which is kind of the extra step to make this game feel more alive. Alright, let's talk about the actual sports. The 5 from the original game have been more than doubled for 12 sports in this game, and some of the old sports have been improved to make them work even better here. Now let's go through each and every game, starting with swordplay. This is a 1v1 game where your goal is to knock your opponent off. There's an Easter egg where if you tie and run out of time, the arena will drastically shrink in size. This would be a good time to mention the improved controls. Before, the Wii Remote would sense that it has been moved and do most of the motion for you, but now you have control to Wii Remote however you want. So, this was a good game to start with, and it shows how much the controls really have improved. Oh yeah, Swordplay has 2 extra modes on top of Showdown. One is a Fruit Ninja game where an object falls down, and you need to cut it in the correct orientation to get the point. And the other game is where you need to take the Miis out, who also have swords. So even though it's like 50 Miis against you, little do they know you're a psychopath that will do this. Wakeboarding. Now, I'm on loose ground here because I have a cousin who really likes this game. And chances are that he's watching this, so sorry. But I think wakeboarding could have been a lot better since there are many inconsistencies with the game. But as for how you play, you build up speed or points by, well, wakeboarding. There are 3 different difficulties, each with more and more obstacles. It's fun to try and go for a high score, but there will be times where you land perfectly flat and it says you failed, and other times where your landing was pretty rocky and it says it was good. Maybe I just don't have the hang of it yet, but this one could have been just a frisbee. For this one, you throw a frisbee to a dog. The closer to the target you get, the more points you rack up. It's pretty fun. But the coolest thing about this game for me is how accurate the dog AI is. It will somehow know where the frisbee will be every single time. And the other game is frisbee golf. It's good. I feel normal golf is better, but it still works here too. Archery. Now, this one's a very simple game, but it's one of my favorites in the package. You hit targets. You also need to take into account for wind speeds and the drop of an arrow. There's also a hidden fruit in every course. I love small details like this in the game. If you hit them, then you get 10 points, so if you're far behind, it wouldn't be bad to go for. This is one of the 3 games that requires the nunchuck, and this is the game that it works best on. Basketball. This is, well, basketball. You have 3-on-3 and 3-point contest. For the 3-point contest, you see how many 3-point shots you can sink in a minute, which is pretty fun. The only issue is that sometimes this happens, which I'm not too hot at basketball in real life, but I would never make a mistake like that. Now, the 3-on-3 is at a somewhat slow pace, and the characters do auto-walk for you, but for how this game is meant to be a simple pick-up-and-play game, I think it works pretty well. Table tennis, or ping pong. Now, this is the game that compared to the original sports is probably the best comparison we have, because now you have full control over the paddle, so now the direction of your swing can decide where the ball goes. Now, this sport I suck at, but it's still a fun time. There's also a rally mode, which is pretty fun, so this is definitely an improvement from the original. Golf. Now, this is a sport I, for some reason, hated to play as a kid because I sucked so bad. It was my least favorite game, but now that I'm a super mature 14-year-old, this game slaps. This time in golf, hitting is so much more accurate, as you can curve your shots, which I'll try to explain more when I talk about bowling. Also, on a side note, all of the holes from the original Wii Sports return here with 8 new ones, so pretty much making the original golf obsolete. This is a really good time. Bowling. Now, if you saw one of my previous videos, you would know that my previous complaint about bowling is that the pins were too stiff. Here in Resort, that is no longer an issue, and also improved with the gyroscope is you can now curve shots, which is what real professional bowlers do. So now I can play just like them. And also from the original game, we have the 100 pin mode and spin controls actual modes, which is awesome that they brought that back. Even if it didn't bring that golf tar game back. Bowling may not be my favorite sport or anything, but it definitely received the most improvements. Power Cruising. This is a simple game where you use the nunchuck to go through rings before time runs out. Now the nunchuck. I'm not going to say the motion controls are bad, but compared to the Wii Remote, it sucks. So when one side of my hand is too sensitive and the other hand is not sensitive enough, it leads to just a wonky experience. But this one's okay overall. Canoeing. I swear, I'm like the only person to have played canoeing. This seems like the sport your weird uncle would play or something. Let's pretend you're 8 years old for a second. Would you rather want to play a sport where you're a knight battling Mies, or a sport where you have an airplane and go wherever you want, or play canoeing? It took me until like 2019, 10 years after the game came out, to give this one a try. And it's actually really good. The controls feel responsive, you have a set distance you need to go in a certain time, and you must achieve it. But surprisingly, it's really responsive. Rarely does it pick up the wrong move. So if you always thought it was a generic sport like me as a kid, just give it a try. Cycling. This is the last game that requires a nunchuck. To pedal, you shake your arms to gain speed. You have a stamina meter that will recharge after not pedaling, and you race to beat other means. Overall, it's... Wait. Something's not right here. Wait. You pedal with your arms? Last I've checked, you pedal a bike with your feet. Other than that weird design choice, it's actually quite fun. Lastly, air sports, skydiving. This game will see you falling down to Woohoo Island, grabbing some other people to score points. The more people you hold on to, the more points. At the end, everybody that you took a photo with will get into rings. If you go through all three, your score is doubled. This is the first game that plays when you boot up the game, and it's a great intro for using Wii Motion Plus. But wait, we still have Island Flyover, and I'm not exaggerating, this might be my favorite game mode of all time. In this game mode, there's no objective, no rules. You have an airplane, and you can go wherever you want. It's as simple as that. And I love it. As a kid, I could just fly wherever I wanted to. There was no one stopping me, and it was a cool way to fly around Woohoo Island. And with these things called eye points, you can collect them and get information about the location you just passed. I spent days in this one mode alone, and it's a big reason why I love Nintendo so much. The only thing that I would change is getting rid of the timer, because having to restart every 5 minutes, just nobody likes it. So I wish we had a way to adjust the timer or just get rid of it altogether. Now for the replay value. Each game mode has achievements or stamps that you can collect. They add loads of replay value to the game, as they can be very hard to collect. And that about covers everything Wii Sports Resort has to offer. This game is a ton of fun with family. Hopefully someday we get an open world Woohoo Island game. That would be a dream. But anyways, thanks for watching.